Visual aids. They're used for all kinds of presentations, and you'll be using them throughout this class and in the future many, many times. There are many ways you can use them, and they are very useful, but there are ways you can completely derail yourself and destroy whatever you're trying to present if you use it wrong. But there are also ways where you can make them incredibly, incredibly useful for what you're saying and how you're presenting. With all of that combined, with the ways you're doing it right and how to avoid the ways you're doing it wrong, you could have a perfect presentation. Here's the ways how. Posters are something that you will use sometimes, not too often, but they can be very much useful in any kind of presentation.
Okay, so today we'll be learning about the history of footballs. And this is a football, and it's 14 inches long-ish, maybe, I don't really know. That's my math number, don't pay attention to that. So this says that footballs are thrown, and it's probably outside, maybe where it's sunny and there's trees and nice and stuff. And also I think people call them pig skins. Yeah, that's all I have.
How you handle a poster and how you organize it is a very important way of presenting it and interacting with it in the first place. When you have a poster that's just information scattered everywhere, no form of organization whatsoever, it's not going to go well because people don't know where to look. There's just tons of different information spread throughout the whole thing. They're going to get distracted by the different things, and don't be touching it, don't be hitting it or pointing things actually touching. You'll want to be just gesturing or pointing at things but not actually touching the paper. Anything like that can cause disruption.
Hi class, today I will be saying some soccer facts. So in 1908, that was the first soccer game that was ever played in the Olympics. And a traditional soccer ball has about 32 panels, one for each country in Europe. And soccer was actually illegal in Mississippi until 1991. And also in 1991, that was the first Women's World Cup that was ever played. And in 1999, the Women's World Cup Finals was the most watched soccer game in the US. And also, on average, a soccer player runs as far as 9.5 miles in a single game. Thank you.
PowerPoints will be your most common form of visual aid because they will be used for any kind of presentation, be it a persuasive or storytelling. It's something that you can have behind you with people to look at while you're talking that will connect them always, and you can go it through different things that you're talking about and have it always connected with what you're saying.
Okay guys, we're gonna watch game footage today. You, why are your socks red? I told you to make them purple. Why are you so far from the line? What are you doing? You, why do you look like you're about to start dancing? You, why is your arrow so short? I'm done.
With a PowerPoint, it's fairly simple. You will want to focus on it slightly, get slight information about what you're talking about, like a few casual glances, and be able to still talk to the audience themselves, not to the screen. And you'll want to just barely point things out and gesture towards them, not actually touch the screen itself with anything you're holding or just yourself. That disrupts and distracts because people will get startled sometimes and it will completely distract from what you're trying to say. And you'll want to face the audience to keep the audience focused with you and connected to what you're trying to say, not completely bored out of their minds because they're just having to look at your back while you're talking about something that they might not even care about. They might not, but if you're not even connecting with them, there's no point for them to pay attention.
Hey guys, so we're gonna look at game footage from last game. Joe, good job staying in the pocket. You could have scrambled to the outside. 64 would have gotten your block and you would have been in the end zone. But it's okay. You hit the receiver anyway. O-line, good job holding the D-line. You gave Joe plenty of time in the pocket and also time for him to scramble. And 63, good job shooting the block. You could have done it a bit faster, but you still got open in the end zone, even though you didn't get the ball. Yeah, good job, great game.
Videos are something that'll be very rarely used with a visual aid, but when they are used, they can be either very, very useful to your presentation or very detrimental based on how you use them and how much they focus into what you're speaking.
All right, so we'll finish it up here.
Whatever you were trying to prove in the original problem, that's what the result should be. So you just have to go step by.
Okay, yes. Mariam, another question.
What's a supplementary angle?
Supplementary angle. Okay, so look at, oh, whoa. Oh, you guys got to see these highlights. Roger Federer, a match this weekend. He's playing John Isner. Look at this. Look at that serve. Ooh, look at those angles. I think I see some perpendicular lines up there, but that's beside the point.
So videos are a tricky subject. With a video, you won't normally be talking along with it. Well, you occasionally can pause and briefly explain what you're doing. It'll be very brief, and then you resume the video. Or go to something else of the similar topic. You'll not want to completely go off topic entirely, completely derailing things and forgetting what you're talking about in the first place.
So does everyone understand how 4 times 0 is really 4 zeros?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on to the next multiplication video.
Props are only used in very specific kinds of presenting, mainly storytelling or things that you know your prop will be used for. And there are ways you will handle and ways you will use your prop that completely decide if your use of it's going to be useful or if it's going to completely derail your entire presentation.
This is a tennis ball. We play tennis with it. It's a sphere. You see that? Yeah. It's yellow. It's fuzzy. And you can hit people with it. Think fast, Celia.
Well, to start, there's the obvious of you don't want to be messing around with whatever prop you bring in the middle of your presentation, because not only will that distract you from what you're saying, it will completely distract the audience from what you're trying to tell them and how they're going to understand what you're saying. And second, why would you throw your prop at someone? That's the worst thing you could do in a presentation. That's a bit exaggerated of something wrong to do, but that's anything where you're trying to involve the audience with a prop is going to end poorly. You'll want to maybe just show it off in your hand while you describe what you're telling people about it and just explain why you brought it in, why it connects to what you're talking about.
I'm going to be sharing some interesting facts about tennis. Tennis was invented by Charles Goodyear. It originated in the 12th to 13th century, and some famous tennis players who played in the Wimbledon tournament was Serena Williams, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal.